Friendship Insurance, our core values guide everything we do, because insurance is more than a policy. It is a promise. We care. We treat every client like family. We're solutions driven. We find answers, not excuses. We utilize teamwork. We do what we say because integrity matters, always. And we're always growing. We strive to be better today than we were yesterday. These values have shaped 86 years of service to Rhode Island families and businesses.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Business Over Breakfast with the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce and 321 Media. My name is Ben Barber. Today, I am joined by my favorite of my three co-hosts for this show. Absolutely my favorite. I'm not going to tell you which one it is yet. You're going to have to, don't laugh. That's going to give it away. Your giggle is going to give it away. Anyway, I am joined by Grace Lund, who is my favorite. Don't tell the other two. And Grace, as you know, I don't really care for the guests on this show, generally speaking.
Right, you have zero interest whatsoever.
I have zero interest. I'm not a fan of the show. But today we are talking about the Literacy Volunteers of Washington County with Mr. Torey Malatia. How are you, Torey?
I'm
Mr.
fine.
Malatia.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. Obviously, when I say I'm not usually a fan, first of all, I'm not a fan of our other two co-hosts either, compared to Grace. But
Are you sure you don't want to edit all of this out?
No. This is why we do it live. Because all of this needs to stay in. It's very pertinent to the conversation. Mr. Malatia, not only are you is it executive director? Is that
That's the title.
That's the title of the Literacy Volunteers of Washington County, which is what 99.9% of this interview will be about. But you are also possibly, I think inarguably, one of the most important names of the last 30 years in broadcasting. You are the co-creator of This American Life. You are the former CEO of WBEZ of Chicago Media. What is the name of the actual Chicago Public Media? Chicago Public Media. You are the most misquoted, purposefully misquoted man in the history of radio.
That's right.
And this is your second time on 321, but it's the first time that you and I have been in the same room together.
Indeed.
So I just wanted to say thank you.
It's a pleasure.
For everything. Thank you for being an inspiration.
That's very nice.
I don't think that 321 exists without you, honestly. I genuinely, if Dave and I had not been such big fans of This American Life 20 years ago, then I don't think that we ever start podcasting, and I don't think that we eventually get with Patrick and start this media company. So thank you for everything.
Wow, thank
genuinely.
you. That means a lot to hear. Thank you.
You and your work are a huge inspiration to everything that we do here.
Great.
That being said, let's talk about that. We are incredibly lucky to have you here in Westerly and to have you working for Literacy Volunteers of Washington County. Tell us a little bit about your work.
Oh, well, it's very, very satisfying work. I was just going to say, it's also just quite a privilege to live in Westerly. It's a wonderful place. Mm-hmm. And this whole area is just gorgeous. People are wonderful. And there's a sense of community here, of everybody wanting to make a not just a good place for themselves, but for their neighbors, for people around them, mm-hmm. for everyone. And I think it's out of that spirit that Literacy Volunteers was founded almost 44 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
When I first came to Westerly, I actually was brought in to interview Deborah Royce at the Westerly Chapel for her first book, Finding Mrs. Ford, which I did, and it was sponsored by Literacy Volunteers of Washington County. Mm-hmm. And so my thought was, great, this is an organization that cares about literature. Mm-hmm. Because we were discussing literature, a novel. But actually, that's not what it's about exactly. Although ultimately, the goal is for people to enjoy literature. It's for people to read better and write better and understand English better and be able to speak it better. And in many cases, these are folks who are new to our community, new to the country. In other cases, people who are perhaps more senior, who came from families that originally had a dominant other language like Portuguese or Italian or whatever it might be. And they want to be able to communicate better now, and they want to be able to read better and enjoy life better. And so we have tutors who are people who have a lot of experience in teaching language, the English language, who volunteer their time, and we match the tutors with the students one-on-one so that people get to know each other. They can meet at different times, different places. A lot of folks have jobs and they can't do things like schedule a class or something like that, but tutoring is quite flexible. So, so they meet and they talk and they learn together. And I know this sounds corny, but there's something really inspiring about watching people learn. Just seeing the passion and the focus that people have to try to accomplish something that up until that time they hadn't been able to do by themselves. And that's one of the things that I find most satisfying, is watching these great sessions, tutors, students learning together. And it's funny because it depends on what your primary language is, but there are so many quirks in English. If we grew up with English and we don't even think about half of those things, but there are strange words that mean weird things. There are turns of phrase that are colloquial that, you have to get to know the context in which those are actually appropriate. And depending on the language that you originally spoke, there are sounds that you need to make in English that are quite inexperienced, not in the experience of people who have made sounds in other languages. So all of this, seeing all of this happen, and all of it out of really just wanting to help people. It's a nonprofit. We don't charge a thing. It's just very satisfying. And it's here in Westerly, and it's doing great work.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think it was my first French or Spanish class in high school, or even like late middle school, where the first thing that they do is teach you to conjugate to be, right? And you start learning the rules of other languages, and you're like, these all make sense. These all make sense. For the most part, the rules of these other languages make sense. And then my teacher started to explain why English doesn't make sense most of the time. And you're like, oh, okay. Most of my scrolling of TikTok and YouTube Shorts now are people making fun of the English language, like English speakers going like, okay, this word is, and then it's homophones that don't make sense with other things. Like I can't think of any off the top of my head because I'm blanking at the moment. But if you look at a word in the English language, it might not have any relevance to another word that looks exactly the same and should sound the same, you would think.
Yeah, there are quirks in every language, obviously. I mean, in the word compromise in English, meaning that you gave up something, I gave up something, we found a compromise, a specific kind of process to reach an agreement. In Spanish, it's acuerdo, which means accord or agreement.
Right.
But to say compromiso means to say you are engaged.
Oh.
Either engaged, doing something or engaged to be married or whatever it might be.
Mhm.
So, each language has.
I think
these
that's the
sorts-
one word in the Spanish language my girlfriend does not know, and we're going to keep it that way.
But for example, we had a student who is by the way, a lot of our students are working here in Westerly, and one of their motivations is they want to do better at work. So we work with the hospitality industry, the restaurant industry, various companies. We've worked with Electric Boat. We've all sorts of companies to help people communicate better and do a better job each time. As a result, this fellow was a really fine cook. He was studying to be a master chef, and he's Asian, and he was speaking to someone after a session at our place, and he was talking about something he had just made that was really good, and he was very proud of it. And he kept saying, "I made it with lo mein." And the person he was talking to, seeing he was Asian, thinking food, said, "I love lo mein. It's one of my favorite dishes." He said, "No, lo mein, not noodles, lo mein." Well, lo mein are noodles. So what is this? He was trying to say romaine, which is lettuce, but that sound, the R sound, was so difficult for him because he didn't grow up with it. He never heard it before, and he was just learning it. And I thought that was rather interesting. We all come from the perspective of confidence in what we say and what we do and how we communicate. But actually, that confidence is fairly fragile. It depends on who you are, where you live, what you're trying to say to whom. Again, in literacy volunteers, what we try to do is level the playing field for a lot of people for whom all of this is foreign. It's just not in their experience. And they want to be part of the community. They want to be comfortable speaking, reading, writing.
It's very nice.
It's
I was
beautiful,
going to ask
honestly.
that actually, like what sound you mentioned earlier. There are sounds that people don't in English that people don't know. I was going to ask, like, what were some of the examples? But I see, like, in R makes sense.
Yes, that's one. There are certain languages where, for example, R's are not plain. They're always vibrated, like this. And of course, that needs to be eradicated if you're trying to have a conversation in English. You need to not do that, which you would normally do that in another language. Ours are just an example. There's many, many THs, other combinations of letters that are difficult. And then, in a way, for some, the English language is actually far too limited. In their native languages, they're able to say all sorts of things that you really can only say in English in a roundabout way. It's fascinating, and again, it's interesting at an intellectual level, but really, just as a citizen, as a neighbor, just watching people care enough to want to do this, to strive to do it in spite of the difficulties, is very inspiring. And I must say, I really admire the people, the students, and certainly the tutors who are giving their time.
That's nice. You said you have like an actual location?
Well, yes, we right now we operate out of the Christ Church just down the street.
Okay.
And people come to that location. But we also arrange for meetings between tutors and students at other locations, mostly libraries or public schools in some cases. These aren't classes, they're tutoring. So it's really just a matter of finding space for two people to go through their work. We also offer conversation classes where we'll invite a bunch of people in, and everybody does a conversation, and we do those over Zoom. We also do them coffee shops. I mean, there's places in which there are gatherings. You can gather people together and have them relax and replicate sort of what would happen in a normal conversation in the community. So we do that too. But it's not, again, these are built for people who have schedules, who have jobs, who can't just drop everything at a certain time, who have to make time in their schedules to be tutored. And there are tutors that are extremely flexible in working with them.
How many languages do you offer?
Well, we just teach English.
Yeah. But like, how many different languages do you guys think you've tutored?
I don't know, maybe 30, including some dialects. One of the things that the tutors are very conscious of is that they need to help people who are learning English try to speak in English. And while many of them, and often, the tutor has some experience in the primary language of whoever it is that we're tutoring, the goal is to not slide back into that language, but to push people into saying it in English, which is also very interesting and difficult.
Yeah. How do you become a tutor?
Well, we have a process whereby you interview with our program director and our literacy specialist and have a conversation about your experience, your background, and your availability. And then there's a process of one-to-one matching. So there's a notion of working very hard to make sure that not only your availability schedule and that of the student are matched, but also, ages, backgrounds, that sort of interests, that sort of thing, so that it's as comfortable as possible. And we're very, very proud of that system. It's been very successful in building relationships, where people learn much more readily because there's a comfort with the tutor.
That's really fascinating.
It really is. What has been your favorite part of this new experience for you and being a part of Literacy Volunteers? Like, what, since you've really gotten into, from the days of interviewing Mrs. Royce to to now working with all of these volunteers and tutors and seeing people grow in the English language and be able to do all of the things that they hope and dream for in the United States. Like, what has been the most satisfying part of this job for you?
Well, it's a small thing, but you might appreciate it as someone who does broadcasting, the podcasting. When I first came, there was this a female student who wanted to read better. And when you want to read better, generally at Literacy Volunteers, it means reading aloud, because it's the only way that a tutor can find out if you're actually reading accurately is if you say the words that you're reading. And about, it was late summer. So I started a year ago, last January. So I've been in a little over a year in the job. Late last summer, I walked in and Tammy was reading this book. And I swear it was so good, you could broadcast it. It was just, it flowed, it made sense. She understood the words, she was doing it. It was like, wow, she's just like completely changed from when I first, eavesdropped on one of these things. And it was so amazing and satisfying. This is an adult. She's probably, I'd say, in her 40s. Um, she's always had trouble with this, even when she was in school. And now she's actually really good at it. She could broadcast.
That's awesome. That's really fantastic. I think that some of the one thing that this program really helps is I feel like, and I'm sure that this is I don't even want to say hopefully it's not, but I don't think it's necessarily an American thing. When someone moves over here and they don't necessarily speak our language, or they have trouble with the language barrier, I feel like there's a lot of stigma of like negating the fact that this is a highly educated person in their language, and they may be a doctor where they're from, or they may be a college graduate with a communications degree, but they come here and they don't know the language, so they're trying to do something here that's different, and general public, it becomes very difficult to do that. And sometimes we don't think, our first thought isn't oh, this person might be a teacher where they're from, or they might be like.
It's quite true. And many I would say most of these are all adults, so most of the people that we tutor have skills, credentials, professional experience from the countries they come from. And part of their goal in speaking English better is to be able to realize some of those skills in our country. An example is we had someone who's a pharmacist from India. And after working with us for, I think it was 2 years, she got her pharmacy accreditation here in the US. And she's now working at a pharmacy here. But she knew it all anyway. It just was a matter of convincing employers that she could deal with the public, deal with suppliers, and all that kind of deal with doctors.
Yep.
So yes, that's it. One thing I've noticed though is that, I don't know if you've watched this, but like if you're in a country where the primary language is not English, and you're an English speaker, that's all you speak. I have seen people in that situation sort of get really frustrated with the folks they're talking to because they don't speak English. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, doesn't anyone here speak English? That almost never happens in reverse.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
People who are new to our country don't get upset at the fact that they can't find anyone who speaks their primary language in a conversation, so that they're angry with the people they're talking to because they don't speak Portuguese or Spanish or whatever it might be. It's just a different attitude.
Yeah.
It's the expectation on the part of English speakers often is that that's the language and everybody should know it. But it's a language like any other language. It has no particular superiority. It certainly has ubiquity. No one's doubting that. But we have to understand that every primary language speaker is speaking what to them is the language. And we need to help them embrace something new and respect the fact that they have something, they have a skill that is significant that they're pulling back on because they're in a new setting, but they still have that skill. They're not deprived of intellect or anything like that. They're just from another place.
I've seen, obviously, like, some technology is moving at a rate that is unheard of, and the thought process, like where they say that we're going, is earbuds that can translate and things like that. And I'm sure that we'll eventually get there
Oh, sure.
to a
Well, I
pretty
mean,
to a
even
pretty
now,
similar thing. Yeah.
but-
And we have our phone.
yeah.
What I'm interested in is the beta version of the headphones that translate, because they're gonna, dialects and mumbling and speech patterns and all of these things where there's like a word that sounds like another word, the same way you put something into Google Translate, and if you misspell it like a little bit, or the context is missed or something, I'd love to hear those conversations
Yeah.
between people that are just missing each other because the
Mhm.
translation is wrong in their ear. That would be, I'm like, you're probably going to see some fights, some miscommunications. Like, it'll be a whole lot like Who's on First when the first people actively try that on a larger
Yeah.
level, which I think is really would be hilarious and frustrating to watch, or it'd be hilarious to watch, frustrating to be a part of.
Especially like slang. Like
So,
trying to
slang, yeah,
translate slang in language.
yeah,
There's gonna be a fight.
yeah. Slang's difficult in English.
Yeah.
Like in your own language, slang is like, especially there's a ton of stuff that my nephew says that I don't know at all, and then once I figure it out, I overuse
Maybe
it to
we
make
should
him
set
angry.
up tutoring with your nephew
Yes.
and you.
Yes,
We
I
can
would
bring
love
you
to
up
do
to
that. We'll
speed.
come to Christ Church. I'm there all the time anyway for the live streaming. So I'll come to Christ Church. We'll go to the offices underneath, which are beautiful, and we'll set it up so that he can teach me what 6-7 means. Finally, I think 6-7's done.
Is it?
I think adults killed it.
I think it's
Good.
over. It
Yeah.
was very short-lived.
It was very short-lived. I think
Most slang
adults
it
killed
is.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a time period, like at the beginning of the basketball season, which was only 2 months ago, like somebody hit a 3 and the score got to 67, and everybody erupted in the room. A week and a half later, same thing happened.
Yeah.
No, but you saw like one kid going, like nobody did it. So it was very quick, and I think that
Definitely a
adults killed
fall
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once, anyway.
How can people learn more about you guys? Do you like Facebook, Instagram?
There's a website,
Mhm.
literacywashingtoncounty.org. We also are on Facebook, Instagram, and you can call or come by. One thing I do want to say, again, I said it earlier, but I know that this is heard by a lot of people who have businesses, commercial enterprises. And in many cases, they will have employees who really could do better. Maybe they're from another country or whatever, and then they really could do better in their speaking skills or interpersonal skills with customers and so on. That's what we do. We work with a lot of companies to help make employees all they can be. It's satisfying for the workers because they feel that they are doing good work, and that gives them a sense of security. It's great for the employers, and it's all free. I mean, we do this as a service in the community. Please go to literacywashingtoncounty.org, look at our website, and if you have any questions, if you'd like to tutor, if that's in your background, or you know people who would benefit from tutoring, let us know.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Grace, what's going on at the chamber?
We've got a lot coming up. I'm just gonna pull it up. I know tomorrow we have a ribbon cutting at Atlantic Audiology. That is
Boom.
at
Put it up on
35
screen.
Wells Street, Unit 2.
Okay.
The event starts at 10, but the ribbon cutting itself is at 10:30. So we're just hoping people can show up. It's a grand opening and a ribbon cutting. So we're excited to welcome this new business into town.
Talk about helping people understand each other better.
Yeah.
Atlantic Audiology is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah.
And then, we have a lot of ribbon cuttings coming up. On Tuesday, March 3rd at 5 p.m. is the official ribbon cutting for Tavern 265. That is located at 265 Post Road. That's where the old Thirsty Beaver was. So we're excited to welcome this new business into town. I know they've got a bunch of TVs. I think it's going for a very classic American fare, tavern style, obviously.
And I think it's the crew from
yeah, it's
a
Jay and
restaurant
his
that
team.
recently changed hands.
Yeah, it's Jay and his team. They've relocated themselves into that space. So we're excited to welcome them. That again is Tuesday, March 3rd at 5 p.m. And then on Wednesday,
I'm just waiting to see which one she goes with so I can see which graphic to put up.
on Wednesday, March 4th, is our first American Roots program as part of the country's 250th anniversary. We are hosting a bunch of little speaker series that are all focused on Westerly businesses that have been here since the beginning, or at least within the last couple hundred years. So the first one is with, it's called Westerly's Paper of Record. It's with Alex Nunes, who's the new executive editor of the Westerly Sun. It's going to be at 5:30. It runs from 5:30 to 6 at the Westerly Library. And there's going to be some light refreshments, but it's just a great opportunity to learn about how the Westerly Sun has been contributing to not only this town, but to the country since as long as they have.
Torey, are you aware that the Westerly Sun was the first paper in the country to announce the news of Pearl Harbor?
I was not.
Yeah.
They had a Sunday afternoon edition, and so they were the first paper in the country to broadcast
yeah.
the news of Pearl Harbor.
Well, it's a treasure, that paper, and Alex is brilliant.
He's
So
great,
I think,
and he also comes from public radio.
indeed, we work together. Actually. So
Love Alex Nunes. I'm excited for what he's doing with the paper, and I think that he's gonna definitely help revitalize the paper to make sure that it's here for another
Next 9
300 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just the first of a speaker series we're hoping to have for the whole year. We have 2 other ones that are on April 9th with the Babcock Smith House, and then May 7th with Washington Trust Company.
The oldest community bank in the United States.
Bank in the United States. So those are coming up if you're interested in learning about any of those. All the information is on our website. It's just oceanchamber.org. And then another ribbon cutting is the same week. So we have ribbon cutting Friday, ribbon cutting Tuesday,
They never stop.
American Roots Wednesday, and then ribbon cutting on Thursday. And this is at Forget Me Not Fabrics.
Dawn.
Yes.
Oh, I love Dawn.
At 29 Railroad Ave in Westerly, right across from the train station. The ribbon cutting is at 5:30. So she's got fabrics, quilting, knitting, yarn. I think at some point she's hoping to do sewing classes. So we're just excited to welcome her officially into this community.
And anybody who grew up in Westerly in the band recently, in the past 30 years, has had Dawn Smith, whether it be Westerly High School, Westerly Middle School. She's been an active part of the EMTs for a really long time. So go out to this ribbon cutting and support Dawn Smith with her new venture. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And then I think the last ad I have is for our Easter egg hunt.
Oh, hold on. Business After Hours.
Oh, yeah.
The Tri-County Chamber Business After Hours.
The Tri-Chamber Business After Hours.
What did I say? Tri-County?
Yes.
Listen.
Tuesday.
Listen. If I said something, it's probably right. We'll just change the name of it.
Yeah,
We'll just change the name of it.
It's right. It's the Tri-Chamber Business After Hours on Tuesday at the Granite Theater. I think it's 5 to 7.
It is, yes. On the 24th.
With the Chamber of Commerce of Eastern Connecticut and the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. If you want to register, it is up on our website. You can do it there. Like I said, with the Granite Theater, and I think they're doing a preview.
They're doing a preview of The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Exactly, right after.
Which is a musical. Mm-hmm. And okay, just letting everyone know.
Yeah.
All right, now you can get
now
to your
I
Easter
will go
egg
back
hunt.
to my Easter egg hunt, which is Saturday, March 21st. And right now we are accepting donations of eggs and candy. We prefer the candy to be nut-free as to not, worry about allergies. But the egg hunt is completely free. It has a new time this year of 11 a.m. It used to be at 1, but we've moved it up earlier in the morning. We are hoping for nice weather. It got pushed 3 times last year. So we're hoping it's going to be a one and done this year on the 21st.
Welcome. All right, and that is everything that's going on. If you want to know more information, check out oceanchamber.org for all of the events that are coming up. And if you want more information on today's guest, go to literacywashingtoncounty.org, which we also put in the comments so that you guys can just click the link.
Thank you.
So absolutely. Grace, pleasure as always to be with you.
Pleasure.
And Mr. Malatia had such a fun time doing this show today that while Grace was talking, he said to me,
"You may be one of the most influential people in the history of broadcasting."
That's what he said to me. Then I appreciate that. I appreciate that he said that to me off air. You guys couldn't hear it, but I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It was a nice touch.
I thought about that this morning, and I was like, I got to do that. All right. So thank you guys so much for being here, Mr. Malatia.
Yeah,
thank you,
you.
Grace. Appreciate it. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to the Chamber Champion scrolling along the bottom of the screen. We'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.